You have to think outside of what you've been told and kind of use a little bit more discerning research and find out what is really going on. Okay, pay attention, find the contradictions, and I enjoy it. Okay, I enjoy finding contradictions so because it doesn't, so I don't feel as crazy when I start picking up some kind of weird vibe, as people say, some weird energy. Is does And then I remember this one particular politician. I heard them. There's just something that is finally being clear to me, that there was just something about one time I heard them talking, and it was the way that they were talking and the sounds and tones when they were describing their mother, which hit me kind of in a strange way, because it was it was the way she was describing her mother, and it sounds as though that she was telling a story but not telling the true story about her mother. But that's what I picked up on, a while ago.
Welcome to the Evolution of the Consciousness podcast. Love is spoken here. With your host and guide, Michelle Carithers.
Morning, everybody. Evolution of the Consciousness, love is spoken here on this November 12th, 2023, on a Sunday. Sunday. It's nice and crisp over in my neck of the woods. The sun is shining. I feel good, like I know I should. I rested very well last night. And so I just want to come on through and let everybody know about what I'm sensing and receiving, and how I'm doing. I hope everybody's doing fantastic, magnificent, and marvelous, because I am. And I hope everyone will put this sound in their ear and to bring a smile to their face just to hear my voice. How about that? I like to have fun, and I hope everyone else is enjoying the moments as they are approaching us. Just take things as they are and do the best you can to stay grounded in your reality. And if you can change it, change it. I know that I've said this many, many a times, that it is so important to control your narrative, right? And I know, and I'm so appreciative, because a lot of people are. They're putting things out from their mouth. They're telling their story. But I want to tell you about those out there, and that's why I say we need to bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. In other words, these fake personas, these fake personalities. And this has nothing to do necessarily with creating a fake persona or a fake personality in to safeguard yourself or for self-preservation, because sometimes you do have to put on a certain mug on your face when you're walking around in certain areas, so that no one think that they can just walk up on you and attempt to handle you. So you do have to protect your personal space. And I told you, because we're so overpopulated, a lot of people feel as though that they can get inside your personal space and invade your energy and infringe on your energy, infringe on your body space, the space that you are required to have proper areas to evolve yourself. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying is that we all deserve proper space, proper distance to contemplate, cultivate, properly meditate, but not ruminate. In other words, to get in touch with our feelings and emotions and be able to control our feelings and emotions without picking up the energy of someone else. And I hope that makes sense. I'll go into that at a later date about, how our energy space is just crumbling because we are all over each other. Okay, the walls are, we can hear everybody's conversation. We can hear people talking, walking, whatever activities. And the main thing that is destroying us is these unnatural sounds and tones, which are polluting, not only our environment, but it's polluting our consciousness, and it's causing a disruption. So I hope everyone understands that it's going to take a lot of work for us to regather ourselves And that means to regather ourselves within and to put the pieces back together within. So, again, a lot of fake personas are going to come out, and you're going to pick up, and I'm going to give you some tips as to how to pick up certain type of activities and behaviors and actions with people, which I hope, and I say hope because I know there's doubt there for me, because there's no evidence of anything. So that's why I'll say, you hear me saying hope. I hope, I hope. Even though I told you what hope does, hope says there's some lack of confidence there. And there is. Okay, there is, because of the results that I see. In other words, I hope that people would do the right thing, but there has to be evidence to support that. Anyway, so I picked up lots of tips from people, because I told you I'm a visual type. And so I pay attention to what they're saying, the sounds and tones. I pay attention to how they're moving around, their behaviors and actions. I don't pay too much attention to their eyes. I know a lot of people make a big deal out of, okay, you need to look into their left eye, and you need to, they need to be, when you're talking to them, they need to be staring directly at you. Okay, that's illogical, actually. So it requires a lot more than that. And I'll just give you some tips, if you choose to test this out on certain people, especially the high profiles. Because the reason I said that is the high profile types, okay, a lot of them have been lying to us over decades, over decades. They've been lying to us about their so-called childhoods or their adolescence, and talking about how how much poverty they were experiencing, and how they were raped and tortured, and but if you pay attention to certain ones that have been talking over decades and reason why I'm bringing this up, I'm not downplaying anybody being raped or tortured. I just want you to consider the contradictions that are coming from certain high profile people when they claim that they were raped and tortured, and they didn't have any food to eat, they didn't have any food on the table, da 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 da. So the main thing to pay attention to is the consistency and how they are speaking over decades. And that's going to require research if you have time to do it. I don't have time to do it, but because I know what the answers are to that. I can tell based on what I've observed and sensed and received, there's a lot of high profile people that have been lying to us. Okay. And they have benefited from lying. They've built empires. Okay. They've been allowed to sit on certain boards, you know, uh, and been allowed to have these certain privileges that would not be allowed for myself and others. In other words, they've taken away certain certain luxuries of life, not necessarily materialistically, but certain luxuries of life by lying about, how they've brought themselves up by the bootstraps, or what's that term? That they've overcome so much, uh, and and then they have the nerve to come forward to condemn people, and ask them why they can't be like they are, when they know that they're a fake persona, that none of this stuff that they are claiming to happen has happened. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you know. Um, that is probably the most indoctrinated thing told to all of us from those so-called uh, successful people who have been lying to us about all this strength they supposedly have to have overcome certain abuse and the rapes, which was, like I said, is going to be proven at some point that is all was a lie. That a lot of things never happened. They just saw the attention behind saying such a thing, and no one challenged it. They may have given these secrets to some people. They may have told some people about, how they've lied to everybody, but it's nonsense, actually, to tell somebody to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps when someone's saying that to you when they know that they are lying to you about how they pulled themselves up and how they had this privileged uh, access to certain maybe people that created this fake persona, this savior complex, this so-called messiah complex, which is all within, and just to steer people in a certain direction and to indoctrinate them. Okay, so you really have to, if you choose to, test it out. Find these contradictions in people. I know, because I know a lot of people are paying attention. The reason I say that is I know a lot of people pay attention to celebrities and these people that have um, so-called been so successful. And we've, a lot of people follow their every word, every every word, every advice they give, everything. We consider them successful and something to, but a lot of people, like I said, and that's why I'm so thankful that I am speaking out, as well as others are picking up contradictions. Okay, they're picking up the contradictions, and also they're picking up some type of foulness in the energy and the sounds and tones when someone is expressing themselves about their so-called abusive childhood. And as I said, a lot of those in the pyramid type are lying. All they're doing is, and that's why I said to the creative types, tell your story, control your narrative before it is stolen from you. What do I mean? Well, we have a lot of people that are scaling around, and it's so easy now, but they've scaled around in the past, reading books of actual victims of crime, actual, people that have suffered, actual victims, and they've taken that story and made it their story. And I can tell you how you can pick that up, because pay attention to the people that are out here in podcast land telling a story, but they're not telling their story because they know it's a lie. Pick that up. There's plenty of videos out there, just in case some of these people stop talking and don't say another word, because they know that some people are going to start picking up their contradictions and know they're lying, that it doesn't make sense. And some people actually lived in neighborhoods with some of these high profile entertainers or high profile people. And, everybody does have their own theories and opinions and all and everything, but some things are going to register as a lie. As I said, when I grew up in uh, my Black culture, like I said, I didn't know we were poor. I didn't feel poor at all. Okay, we were fed daily. We had housing, clothing, da 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 da. Now, was it high material, blah blah blah? No, it wasn't. It wasn't no high material living lifestyles. Okay, and also pay attention to some of those that claim that they were living in trailer parks. You know, well, back in the day, trailer parks were a luxury place to be, right? But the reason why they became uh, obsolete, there could be some other nefarious things going on, but they were essentially just like these tiny housing. The trailer parks back in the day were mobile, right? And the reason why that they became an issue is due to the climate. Okay, but I know of a lot of people that grew up in trailer parks and they had great lives. They were provided for. I know some of my relatives still live in trailer parks, and they don't consider themselves poor. It's just a lifestyle that they chose to live in. Like I said, because those trailer parks were considered mobile. In other words, there was some flexibility as to where you can place your home, where you can kind of move around if something became um, if you were in a certain mobile home area and you didn't like the area, you could move it. And I think it was cheaper to do so back in the day. Do some research. But as the climate destruction started to happen, they became unsafe to live in. Or maybe it could have been something nefarious about the manufacturing of it that made them unsafe to live in, just so they can push people in certain housings. You have to think outside of what you've been told and kind of use a little bit more discerning research and find out what is really going on. Okay, pay attention, find the contradictions, and I enjoy it. Okay, I enjoy finding contradictions so because it doesn't, so I don't feel as crazy when I start picking up some kind of weird vibe, as people say, some weird energy. Is just, and then I remember this one particular politician. I heard them. There's just something this that is finally being clear to me, that there was just something about one time I heard them talking, and it was the way that they were talking and the sounds and tones when they were describing their mother, which hit me kind of in a strange way, because it was it was the way she was describing her mother, and it sounds as though that she was telling a story but not telling the true story about her mother. But that's what I picked up on, a while ago. And it's starting to make sense how a lot of us are, like I said, we're all walking contradictions, all of us. You need contradictions because that's how you develop yourself. It helps you to learn how to discern everything, to look at the complete package. Okay, the complete package, stretch it out. Does it make sense? Is it reasonable? Is it reproducible? And all this and that and the other. And you're going to pick up that a lot of these so called high profile people in politics, whether they're billionaires, whether they are influential uh, personalities, blah, 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 they're in the pyramid. They've made massive money and luxuries and properties and real estate from lying. Okay, so that's something to put in your ear on this Sunday morning, November the 12th, 2023, on a Sunday. Yes, I'm going to say more about that, but just start there. Start looking for contradictions or listening for contradictions or feeling for contradictions from some of these high profile people. And I know a lot of you pay attention to them because you pay attention to their every word, you follow their advice, you spend your money buying their books and products and blah blah blah. And and but something was always not right about it, but you just were so in a trance and you didn't realize that you were being indoctrinated, manipulated, and used. Have fun with it, take it off the personal. I think if you take it off the personal, you have more evidence than you will ever need that some of these people are nothing but fraud. And at some point, they're going to expose themselves because, yeah, what did I say? We're all at a culmination, not just the planet, but each one of us individually are at a culmination. And you have to answer for your behaviors and actions and do everything in your power to resolve it. All right. So before I go, I want to go ahead and read out 10 more meditation from Clear Sight. Billy Meyer put out a book on meditation, and this just helps you to, kind of cultivate, contemplate, to properly meditate, but not ruminate, and help you to activate your consciousness and allow your consciousness to bring forth the right type of experiences you need in your life in order to resolve things and also to evolve your consciousness. So let me start. Within me exists neither anxiety nor fear. Okay, I like reading that because that has to be, that's an active existence that has to be considered. But everything's free will, self will. Remember that. My thoughts and feelings strengthen the trust in myself, right? A lot of people talk about trust. Well, your thoughts and feelings are the ones that strengthens that. Your thoughts and feelings strengthens the trust in yourself. Constantly, I retain my knowledge that my thoughts and feelings are positive and generate what is positive. Positive neutralized. In other words, you understand what negativity is. You understand what positivity is, but you've neutralized it to where each one exists, but it doesn't affect you in a negative, extreme negative or extreme positive. Constantly, I find my own strength and I can depend on it. Now that's fantastic to know that you can find your own strength and depend on it. To depend on yourself, I think is a powerful, that's something powerful to cultivate and contemplate on. Constantly, I decide and behave myself on my own responsibility and lead and define my life myself. It is a joy for me to know and value myself. Let me say that again. And let me just tell you how powerful that is. If you bring that into your innermost being, it is a joy for me to know and value myself. Okay? Because I cultivate myself, I can depend on myself. My nature is good, and I am a true human. There is no discontent in me because everything moves actively and in contentment. Myself is developed, and with this, I live well together in harmony. And because I respect creation, I respect and value also myself. So I hope that is some nice sounds and tones in your ear on this Sunday. Evolution of the Consciousness. Love is spoken here. I'm Michelle Carithers.
Thank you so much for listening to the Evolution of the Consciousness podcast. Please make sure to leave us a review. If you wish to ask a question to Michelle, you can leave her an email at msmichellecarithers@gmail.com.